My son loves lobster mac and cheese. I mean, come on, who doesn't? So I wanted to do an elevated version, which is ideal when you're entertaining for a dinner party, making lobster risotto and cheese. Hey guys, I'm Shereen with Cook This. First to get started for our elegant lobster risotto and cheese. I'm gonna just dice some shallots. So we're gonna first saute our shallots while already I went ahead and I'm heating my seafood stock and lobster juice. So you can find that in some of your grocery stores. If you can't find lobster juice, you can totally substitute for clam juice. So that gives really great flavor for the risotto. That's heating right there on the back burner, so you want it to be warm at all times while we make the risotto. So I'm just gonna dice my shallots and get them into the pot so we can saute them till they're tender. Just wanna heat a 4-quart pot. Need a little bit of oil so that way we don't burn our shallots. And just a pinch of salt and pepper, just to sort of get them going, give them flavor while they saute. All right, now to toast the risotto. So I have arborio, which is a short grain rice, Italian rice. So what the arborio will do is it'll slowly release this beautiful creamy texture. So we're gonna cook it slowly. We have to cook it in stages. We'll add a little stock, keep stirring, add a little more stock, keep stirring, and by doing that, after about 20-25 minutes, it will slowly release its starch, making it really creamy. So first we're just gonna toast the risotto and then deglaze with a good white wine. So when you're cooking, you don't need to use a really expensive wine, but definitely one you would pour in a glass and drink. After all, you know, you're making this recipe. It's really important the ingredients that you add to it. You don't want a cheap wine. So about a half a cup of white wine. I have a Chardonnay. So we want to reduce it down until it's almost dry. So I have the stock heating on the back burner. You just want to bring it slightly under the boil and then just reduce it to a simmer. So we want to keep it warm. That way, each time we add the stock to the risotto, it doesn't reduce the temperature and it just continuously rolls through the cooking process. All right, we are good. We have a nice reduction from our wine, and now we're just gonna add the stock. So here's your key. Here is your key when you're adding the stock. So you just want to cover the rice. That way all the granules evenly cook. And we're on a medium-low heat the entire time. All right, so that's it. Couple ladles of stock. Make sure our heat is perfect, medium-low. And then we just want to stir pretty much continuously. But I am gonna move ahead a little bit and prepare our lobster. But we just want to make sure our rice doesn't reduce too far down, or I should say our stock too far down, because we want it to cook evenly. So we want to keep our rice hydrated at all times, but not swimming in stock, just to the point where it's covered. Okay, we are looking good. And now I'm going to prepare our crust. So I have some panko crumbs, some lemon, a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. So this is going to be our topping. So when we think of lobster mac and cheese, we have that beautiful texture from like breadcrumbs on top, and that's what this is going to be. So I have about a tablespoon of a good extra virgin olive oil, half of a freshly squeezed lemon. So we want just about a tablespoon from the lemon. This is going to give great flavor. And then I'm just going to steal from the other side some of that zest. I love the lemon zest. It has all those beautiful essential oils in there, and it really heightens the flavor of anything that you add lemon to. and you got it, why not use it, right? Okay, we need some salt and pepper. And see, I'm babysitting my risotto, so I'm not going too far. So you just want to reach around and just stir it from time to time. And some salt. Okay, this we're just going to put on the side because after we cook our lobster, we're going to brown our breadcrumbs because this is going to be our topping right on top. All right, so we're ready for more stock. So about a half a cup more. And you can see it, it's all about visual when you're making risotto. Just make sure your rice is covered. Can you see this? Come over here, come see. It's nice and covered. That way it evenly cooks. So earlier I went ahead and prepped my lobster. So I have 4 frozen lobster tails, and you just want to thaw them and slice them right down the back and split them in half and just clean them out. And now I have some melted butter, and you just want to brush the top with melted butter, and we're going to season it with salt and pepper. Put it under the broiler and just broil them until they're cooked through for about 5-6 minutes. All right, 5-6 minutes under the broiler, so quick. So you're just going to take your lobster tails right off the baking sheet, put it onto a cutting board. We're going to remove the shell, get rid of the shell, and just dice the meat. But look at all that lobster jus. Look at that on the bottom of the sheet tray. We're going to now just sprinkle our panko right over the top. I did move my rack in the oven right in the middle and repositioned it, and then set the oven to 425 degrees. Come back here, give our risotto a little babysitting. It's almost there. Look how creamy this is. It is amazing how that short grain rice releases the starch and creates its own natural creaminess. Okay, so we added the last round of stock, and now this is the time you want to season it. So season to taste, go a little bit, and just keep adding. Remember, your stock and your lobster juice, although there is some natural salted flavor, it still is not seasoned. So this is the time to season it after everything is reduced. And your consistency will look like porridge. You want it to be loose, you want it to be creamy before we add our mascarpone, which is an Italian cream cheese, and some Parmigiano Reggiano. So that is our cheese part of our version of mac and cheese. In goes our Parmigiano Reggiano. So I just grated this fresh a little bit earlier. And our mascarpone. So this gives it a nice creaminess, a nice zing on top of our already creamy risotto. It adds so much flavor. This is the elegant version. So we're just going to keep stirring until it's melted. We'll taste it for seasoning. Make sure it pulls together, but you don't want it to sit. Remember, it'll tighten up and you'll lose that velvety texture that we worked so hard to achieve. All right, so you need a ladle because look how creamy. It's like the texture of rice pudding. So creamy. Top it with our lobster. So you just want to divide this among 4 bowls. And our breadcrumbs. So I pulled these out a little earlier. Look at that. And of course, for some green color, we have some chives. This is elegant. This is perfect for a dinner party. Look at that. I don't know, I think I'd make an excuse to make this any night of the week. For this recipe, go to the newspaper's website and visit me on Facebook and Twitter for more culinary tips. I'm Shereen with Cook This. Thanks for watching. See you next week.